Now we will learn the new property. In the last few classes we have learned that in appearance. Now the new property we will learn, that is solubility. What does this solubility means? First we have to understand that. Solubility means ability to dissolve, ability of a material to dissolve in water. Solubility means the ability of a material to dissolve in water. মানে যেটা আমরা বাংলাতে বলি গুলে যাওয়া। Now we know that not all the materials dissolve. We know that not all the materials dissolve. Some dissolve, some doesn't dissolve. Now on the basis of that some dissolve and some doesn't dissolve, we group them, and we group them out by what? Soluble and insoluble. What is soluble and what is insoluble? Soluble is the materials which dissolve in water are soluble. মানে যারা জলে গুলে যায় তাদেরকে আমরা কি বলবো? That is soluble. We know what is it? Give example. Sugar, salt, they dissolve. And what is insoluble? Insoluble is the materials which do not dissolve in water. There are many more materials which do not dissolve in water. What are they? Sand. We know the sand doesn't dissolve in water. তারা জলে গুলে যায় না. So they are insoluble. They are called insoluble. Now to understand this solubility, let's perform some activity. Let's see. So as you can see, there are four materials. One is it is salt, it is sugar, water, and it is chalk. Now we will see that how this which materials can be which can be dissolved or which cannot be dissolved. The first we will take what is, see, this is salt. Now I am adding small amount of salt in it. Okay. Now one by one I am adding. This is sugar. I am adding. I am adding cotton. And in this I am adding some chalk powder. Now let's try which material dissolve or don't dissolve. I'm stirring. What do you see? The salt cubes are disappearing. They are disappearing water. That means they are dissolving. And what it does it say? It is soluble. Now comes to the second beaker. What is it? I have put it as sugar in it. What do you see? See, you can see that sugar cubes are disappearing slowly. It is getting dissolved. So this material, since sugar is getting dissolved, we call them soluble. Now come to the cotton. I am stirring cotton vigorously. Are they disappearing? No, they are not disappearing. They are not dissolving. So what do we call? Since they are not disappearing, they are not dissolving, we call them insoluble. Now comes to the fourth. What do you see? You see the chalk powder are still present in there. You see that here you can distinguish that sugar particles have been disappeared, sugar cubes have been disappeared, but chalk powder is not disappearing. That means chalk is insoluble. So now we can group. So now we can say what are the insolubles? The sugar and salt are insoluble. Sugar and salt are soluble, and cotton and chalk are insoluble in nature. But now here in insoluble properties, now see, you can see two different properties over here also. What say? When you are doing cotton in water, what you are seeing? You are seeing that cotton is present on the surface. You see, it is on the present at surface. They are not present at the. It is not present at the below. It is not sinking. But you see, chalk powder, they are present. They are They have sinked. Now, in insoluble properties also, we can some materials float and some materials also sink. Now basis of that float and sink, we can group them. There are few materials, that means which insoluble materials. There are some sinks and some floats. But which material floats? Why they float? And why some materials sink? This is because that materials which are lighter than water, they float. They means the materials which are lighter and halka, jole theke halka, they will float. And which material will sink? The materials which are heavier than water. As you can see, chalk powder. Chalk powder is heavier than water, and that is the reason they sink. So those material floats, we call them less dense than water. What we call them? Less dense than water. And the materials which sink in water, they are called more dense than water. Dense means bhari. The float, in float, materials are less dense, mane halka, kom bhari, jole theke kom bhari, and that is the reason they float. And in sink, these materials are more denser, mane jole theke bhari, beshi bhari, and that is the reason they sink in water. And the example we have seen that we have performed the activity, that is cotton and chalk.